Hi guys, this is Pete. Now, as many of you may know, on yesterday, the 25th of October 2016, there was a terrible tragedy at one of our theme parks on the Gold Coast. Now, the Gold Coast is my hometown, and it claimed the lives of 4 innocent people. It was a terrible accident and a terrible tragedy. But what I'm struggling to understand is what happened on this ride, this malfunction on this ride, that caused the death of these 4 people. This ride is one of the calmest, most sedate rides at Dreamworld, at the theme park. Now, I've spoken with a lot of people asking what happened to cause this river ride. It's called the Thunder Rapids River Ride. What happened to cause this raft with 6 people on board to actually flip over? There were 2 children on the ride. They got thrown free, thank God. They survived, suffered some injuries but survived, and there were 4 other people on the raft that tragically lost their life. So, what happened? No one that I've spoken to seems to know. So I'm going to post up some photographs that will explain how this raft actually flipped over. 2 people were thrown out of the raft and sucked into the conveyor belt and crushed to death. 2 other people were also thrown out of the raft and they drowned. They were trapped under the raft and drowned. How did this happen? Well, let's take a look. Firstly, I'm going to show you some video footage of the actual ride that they were killed on, and then we're going to explain a little bit about what happened. So this is footage of the actual ride that these people were killed on. As you can see, the ride is nearing its end. The rafts are getting winched up via a conveyor belt or a chain. And it's at about this point that the raft in front got stuck at the end of the conveyor belt, and the raft with the 6 people on that were killed and injured kept on coming. It got caught behind the raft that was stuck. It then lifted up and flipped over. So just let me try and explain this to you in very, very simple layman's terms. There were 2 rafts coming up the conveyor belt like this, one raft behind the other. Now, I know this is oversimplifying what happened, but this is probably the easiest way to show you. There were 2 rafts coming up like this. At the top of the conveyor belt, this raft got stuck. The second raft, with the people that were killed and injured, was still coming up. The conveyor belt was pulling it up behind. It hit the raft that was stuck. It had nowhere to go. The conveyor belt was still pulling it up. It lifted up and flipped over like that, throwing all 6 people out of the raft. Now, here's a photograph explaining better, I guess, what happened, and you can see there's steps 1, 2 and 3 there, and it explains exactly what happened. And you can see that the conveyor belt is not actually a belt. It's a series of railway sleepers, or it looks like railway sleepers, being pulled along by 2 chains with gaps in the middle of the sleepers. And 2 of the people that got thrown out of the raft, 2 of the children survived. They got thrown clear. 2 other people got thrown down between the sleepers in the conveyor belt and they were crushed to death. And 2 people were trapped either side of the raft and they drowned in the water. Just a terrible, terrible, terrible tragedy. This is just absolutely terrible. Now guys, there has been some talk about laying blame. Personally, I think this was just a tragic accident, and I believe that when your time is up, it is up. I don't think that they can lay blame anywhere. However, There has been some talk on social media that the water was drained from the ride earlier on in the day. There had been some maintenance issues with the ride, and that perhaps the water level was too low when it was refilled, and this caused the top raft to get stuck at the end of the ride. There's also been some talk that the straps that hold you into the ride are held by Velcro, and there's been some talk that the Velcro was old and worn, and when the raft flipped up, the Velcro simply popped open, throwing everybody out of the ride. I don't know whether this is the case. This is just talk on social media, so who knows whether it's true or not. There's been some talk that the Velcro was worn and it was old and wasn't securing people into the ride properly. And who knows, perhaps they would have survived had the Velcro straps held them into the raft, because it did only flip up like that, it didn't actually turn right over. Or perhaps would that have been maybe an even worse situation? I don't know these things, I can't answer these things. Obviously there's going to be a full coronial investigation and we will find this stuff out. Is there, blame to lay on the management or maintenance crew from Dreamworld? Personally I don't think so, but who knows, only time will tell. Anyway, at the end of the day, it was just a terrible, terrible thing, terrible tragedy for all involved, and lives were lost and families shattered. I really don't know what more to say on this, but I'm just hoping that this video will explain to a lot of people what actually happened on the day, because I know a lot of people are quite confused about it, and the media just don't seem to be releasing too much about what actually went wrong on the day. Alright, love you guys. My family's thoughts and condolences go out to everyone involved in this, including people that witnessed it and people that are traumatised by it. See you next time.